All right, so the roll sheet is going around. And the first thing I want to do is go over the test to make sure we're clear on it. And so if you have any questions about the answers, please ask. And in section 1, the questions were 2 points each. And in section 2, they were 4 points each, okay? So if you see a -4 in section 1, that means I got confused and lost my place in terms of the sections. Sometimes that happens. If you see that, talk to me afterwards and we'll fix that. Okay. So part 1 on the first test, you have to determine whether the passage contains an argument or a non-argument. And if it's an argument, you have to tell me what the conclusion is. And if it's a non-argument, you have to tell me what kind of non-argument it is, right? 1, 2, 3, or 4. And there were a number of people, a handful of people that didn't indicate what type of non-argument it was, and that cost a boatload of points. But never fear, chapter 4 and chapter 1 overlap in terms of content. And so, if you do better on chapter 4 than you did on chapter 1, I will use your chapter 4 grade for both chapter 1 and chapter 4, right? So if you made that mistake, let's not make it again, and you have a place to redeem yourself, and that's when we get to chapter 4. Okay. All right, so number 1, part 1 on the test. After leaving the Clash, Mitt Jones formed a new band, Big Audio Dynamite. Big Audio Dynamite was even better than the Clash. Well, this is a non-argument because no particular claim is supported by evidence, so that was a non-argument type 4, okay? Now, if you got non-argument, but you got the wrong kind of non-argument, you missed 1 point. Does everybody understand that? Okay. 2, if you want to get along with others at a social event, but then don't start a conversation about religion or politics, okay? This is a giant if-then, a giant conditional, well, not so giant, it's a conditional, so it's a non-argument because it's a type 1, it's a conditional statement, okay? Any questions? Number 3, the Surgeon General claims, now notice that, the Surgeon General claims that vaping has been linked to chronic lung disease and asthma. He goes on to say that these are serious conditions. The Surgeon General concludes then that vaping is bad for your health. Many people said that this was an argument, but it's not really an argument as much as it is what? The reporting of the Surgeon General's argument. So the right answer there was non-argument because it was a report of an argument, and that was type 3. Okay? Number 4, the brownies are burnt because Joe set the temperature to 425 instead of 325. Okay? This is a non-argument. It is an explanation, so that would be type 2, okay? It has the indicator word because, okay? And so you should think, well, that means what's to the right, if it's an argument, is a premise, and what's to the left would be the conclusion. Now, it says the brownies are burnt, so we just got to take it that that's just an accepted known fact, and in that case, 4 serves as an explanation. So it's a non-argument explanation. Now, could I have seen it as an argument? Yes, but I could have seen it as an argument if it were worded a bit differently. For instance, you can be certain that the brownies are burnt, which means we don't know for sure, because Joe set the temperature to 425 instead of 325, then it would be an inductive argument, cause and effect. Does everybody understand that? Okay. So the best answer there was non-argument because it was an explanation. Okay. Now, number 5. Number 5. Number 5, I don't want to read the whole thing, it's so lengthy. There's a clue that tells you what's going on here. The last line says what? Hence. And what kind of indicator is hence? It's a conclusion indicator, and if you think about it, everything above supports the truth of that last sentence. So it was an argument with, it is unreasonable to believe that modern English Bibles necessarily reflect the same intent as that of the original authors. Okay, so number 5 was an argument. Okay. Number 6. If Helmut Marko leaves Red Bull Racing, then Max Verstappen will leave Red Bull Racing. If Max Verstappen leaves Red Bull Racing, then it is likely that Alex Albon will replace Verstappen at Red Bull. Hence, if Helmut Marko leaves Red Bull, then it is likely that Alex Albon will replace Verstappen at Red Bull. Lots of people said that this was a non-argument because it was a conditional statement. But remember, we said conditional statements alone are non-arguments, right? This is not a conditional statement alone, okay? This is a series of conditional statements, and it goes something like this. If A, then B. If B, then C. And the conclusion, if you go look back, would be if A, then C. And that is a legitimate argument, with this being the conclusion, and on ours it would be that last sentence, and there's a giant hint there where it says hence. So number 6 was supposed to be an argument with that last sentence being the conclusion, and I emphasize this fact that conditionals can be premises and they can be conclusions, right? But by themselves they're not arguments. But this was not a case of it being a conditional all by itself. Okay, so number 7. I really can't stand the excessive heat and humidity of the deep south, not to mention the hurricanes and tornadoes. I'm moving back to the earthquakes and wildfires of California. Best answer, non-argument, there's no particular claim supported by evidence. Okay, now, some people wanted to say that there was an argument or explanation here. There's no words to indicate that there's a connection between the first sentence and the second. If they had said, I really can't stand the excessive heat and humidity of the deep south, not to mention the hurricanes and tornadoes, therefore I'm moving back to earthquakes and wildfires in California, then it would be an explanation. Does everybody understand that? Okay, but we don't have those kind of indicator words in there, so the best answer is no passage supported, or no claim supported by evidence. Okay. Number 8, Christian Horner claims, okay, that's a clue, Christian Horner claims, that the success of Red Bull Racing does not depend on Adrian Newey's engineering or Max Verstappen's driving. The Red Bull Racing car is a race-winning car so long as a veteran driver is in the cockpit. Hence, Horner claims. So we got an indicator word, hence, but it's not hence blah, it's hence this guy said that. So we're not making an argument, we are doing what? We are reporting an argument. So this is a non-argument, it's a report of an argument. So that's non-argument type 3. Bill is rolling in the money right now because he bet $2,500 on Mystic Dan to win the Kentucky Derby at 20-to-1 odds, okay? There is that indicator word because, which would mean to the left is a conclusion and to the right is the premise if it were an argument. But we're assuming that it's known that Bill is rolling in the money right now, and we're explaining why. Why does Bill have all this extra money now? So this is an explanation, okay? Non-argument explanation, and that's type 2, okay? 10, if Bill had placed $50,000 on Mystic Dan to win the Kentucky Derby, then his payout would have been $1 million. That sentence is just a conditional by itself, so it's a non-argument type 1 conditional statement, okay? 11, Elon Musk claims that the new supervised full self-driving software for his Tesla brand of electric vehicles is 5 to 10 times better than the current generation of self-driving cars. He also expects the software to improve exponentially over the next few years. Full self-driving cars will be a reality by 2035, says Musk, okay? So I accepted 2 answers here. One was a report of an argument, what Musk is arguing, right? But I also accepted no particular claim supported by evidence, okay? 12, modern solid-state pinball machines are more fun to play today than their electromagnetic counterparts of the 1960s and early 70s. That's just a claim made without any supporting evidence, so that'd be a non-argument type 4, okay? 13, you should stay clear of the electromechanical pinball machines of the 1960s and early 70s for home use. The machines that